Welcome to the outreach ministry of Bishop Victor Gill, prophet of the nation.
Coming to you from the Caribbean paradise, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Join us right now for an experience that can change your life. Get ready for your miracle. Here is Bishop Victor Gill.
To invite Pastor Gill to the pulpit as he brings the word this morning. Put your hands together for him.
Genesis 29 and verse 31. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Today I want to share with you on the subject, overcoming the spirit of rejection. Overcoming the spirit of rejection. One of the basic needs of human beings is to be loved, to be valued, and to be appreciated as a person, to be esteemed. And all of this can be summed up in one thing: the need to be accepted, the need to feel a sense of acceptance. However, many suffer from the feeling of rejection by others for different reasons. And many can identify with these words: dropped, pushed aside, ignored, unnoticed, slighted, sidelined, avoided, excluded, uninvited, unappreciated, broke up, disliked, abandoned, disregarded, dismissed, replaced, forsaken, abused, refused, overlooked, and let down. I don't believe anyone is totally immune to the spirit of rejection. Every one of us at some point in time, to varying degrees, will experience some form of rejection. Even now, someone listening to me might be struggling with the issue of rejection because you were dropped, discarded, pushed aside, ignored, went unnoticed, slighted, avoided, excluded, not appreciated, disregarded, disrespected, dismissed, embarrassed, misused, abused, refused, replaced, forsaken, betrayed, forgotten, not invited, fired, or you experience a painful breakup. Some of you have experienced some of these more or less. But you must be careful, even when you face rejection, how you respond to the spirit of rejection. Because the spirit of rejection comes to take control of you and to cripple you and to limit you from your full potential. You must know how to respond to the spirit of rejection and how to overcome the spirit of rejection. And so my first point is the tendency to react negatively to the spirit of rejection. Because of some bad experience at some point in time, there are many people who have become victims of the spirit of rejection. They carry a strong feeling of rejection. A spirit of rejection is when, because of past failures or abuses by others, and because others think ill of you, you begin to accept those feelings that come along and begin to think ill of yourself. You see, the spirit of rejection is not so much what happens on the outside, but it's when it is internalized by the person. It's not the water on the outside of the boat that is the problem. It is when the water gets into the boat. Some people are so affected by rejection, they become withdrawn. I'm talking about negative responses. They become withdrawn, antisocial. They ostracize themselves from others. But some go in the opposite direction. They have been so affected by the spirit of rejection that some will do almost anything to fit in. They will do almost anything to be accepted or to feel accepted. Some wallow in self-pity. They unconsciously pity themselves as a painkiller because of the hurt that they carry and that they are trying to pacify. Some react and become very aggressive at others and very hypercritical as a painkiller because of the hurt of rejection. They criticize everything. In other words, they try to pull down others to lift themselves. But all those are the wrong responses to the spirit of rejection. Some suffer from chronic low self-esteem. Some have been so affected by the spirit of rejection that they have at one point contemplated suicide, and some have even attempted suicide. All these are the negative responses because of the effects of a spirit of rejection. But I want to tell you that these kind of responses are not the will of God. And I want to tell somebody that you can rise above the spirit of rejection. As a matter of fact, I want to tell somebody that have been suffering with the spirit of rejection, today that bondage is broken. Today your deliverance has come. Today you will walk out of that. Today you will never be the same. Somebody say yes. I want to tell somebody, point number 2, there's a purpose for the pain. And I know some of you are feeling pain. I know you are hurting. You use painkillers to cover it up. Some people, they run with the wrong crowd, do wrong things because of the pain of rejection. But I want to tell you, there's a purpose for the pain. And you don't have to run with the wrong crowd. You don't have to try to fit in. You don't have to pull down nobody to pull up yourself. You don't have to end your life. Don't throw your life away. Don't commit suicide. There's a purpose for the pain, honey. God has a plan for you. God has a purpose for you. The devil is a liar. I say the devil is a liar. God is going to bring somebody out today. The text that I read to you, Genesis 29 and verse 1, it says, when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, that she was rejected, God opened her womb. Now in the Bible, you know, we have the patriarchs, the 3 main patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then we have the matriarchs, and they are Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. But of all the matriarchs, Leah was the only one with the unfortunate dissimilarity of being unloved by her husband. Jacob was tricked into marrying Leah. He did not love her. His love was for Rachel, whom he married later. But Leah had nothing to do with that. Her father fixed this marriage and planned this thing, and all she wanted to do, like everybody else, was to have a good marriage and a good life. But little did she know, her husband did not love her. Oh my God. Anybody out there? So from day one, Leah faced rejection. For many years, Leah was unhappy. The fact that she was not loved by her husband made her unhappy. And we can only imagine the loneliness she bore. We can only imagine the brokenheartedness she endured. She must have had many sleepless nights. She might have had many lonely days. She might have shed many bitter tears. It would not have been easy because the man who she loved did not reciprocate. The man who she loved did not love her, and so her life was very unhappy. She was unloved by her own husband. Amen. When the person is closest to you don't love you, that's a serious thing. That's rejection. And so Leah was in this situation, unloved by her own husband. In the marriage, she was playing second fiddle. No, I don't sing worldly music. But you know, I borrow this line because it's the truth. It's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back. And that's a fact. But you see, this was not the case with Leah. She was trying every which way to attract her husband, but she was rejected. She suffered from a spirit of rejection. It wasn't easy. You see, a spirit of rejection is not an easy burden to carry. But thank God there's a God above. He sits high, but he looks low, somebody. And so the Bible tells us, but God, God in his goodness looked down on our situation and turned Leah's pain into gain. Turned her pain into fruitfulness. The Bible says when the Lord saw, Genesis 29 and verse 31, when the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he opened her womb. So watch this. Among the 12, in the 12 tribes of Israel, the leaders of the 12 tribes, 8 of them came from Leah. Oh, come on, somebody. She made 8 sons and 1 daughter, Dinah. She birthed 8 of the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. As a matter of fact, 2 came from her handmaiden Bilhah. And among these men were some outstanding characters, because from her came Levi, and from Levi came the priesthood of Israel, and all who were to work in the holy things of God. From Levi came Moses, and from Moses came deliverance from Egypt's bondage. From Moses came the Decalogue, the 10 commandments that has affected the moral laws of the whole world. From Moses came the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. From Moses came the tabernacle. And Moses led the children of Israel, oh Lord have mercy, to the promised land. From Leah came Judah. Judah means praise somebody. Amen. From pain, here comes praise. Get ready to praise God. Get ready to shout in spite of what the devil is trying or has tried. I wish I had a church in here. From Judah came Israel's most illustrious king, King David. From Judah came the monarchy of Israel. From Judah came the kings and the princes. From Judah came the kingdom. From Judah came the word Jew and the all too familiar Jewish. From Judah came Jesus, Lord have mercy, the Messiah, the hope and Savior of the world. The children of Leah were outstanding. So I want to tell somebody today, there's purpose for your pain. The lineage of Jesus is traced back to a rejected woman. Oh Lord have mercy. Hallelujah. It's amazing what God can do with rejected stuff. It's amazing what God can do with things that people push aside. Oh, come on, somebody. I said the lineage of Jesus is traced back to a rejected matriarch. Jesus was the son of a rejected woman. The man who spoke like no other. The man who did works like no other. The man who impacted the world like no other came out of Leah. You see, all those days and nights she felt lonely and empty. God had a plan. Some of you have faced some things. You wonder, wherever you go, it's like the devil single you out and say, look him there, look her there, give a thumbs down. It's like the devil just stalk you to reject you. But I want to tell you, God has a plan for the pain. There's a plan for the pain. God is in charge. God is in control. The Bible says when he saw that Leah was unloved, he opened a womb. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter who don't love you. As a matter of fact, when people don't love you, the Bible says, when your mother and father forsake you, then the Lord will lift you up. Blessed are ye, Jesus said, when men reject you, separate you from their company, amen, and speak evil of you. He said, leap in that day, rejoice for joy. Rejoice with joy. Listen to me. Some of you don't realize it was God who was separating you. God was preparing your belly, preparing the womb from which children are going to be born. Because when you're rejected and the anointing comes upon you, it comes with a fire. Amen. It comes because you don't know how nasty the devil is, and you minister to lift somebody up. Glory be to God. So people who have not been hurt can minister under the anointing. Are you hearing me? You have to know what it is, like David, to be in Ziklag and Adullam. You have to know what it is to duck from a spear. You have to know what it is when they who went to the house with you eat your food. We sat and talked together. We communed together. No, you have to say, oh, that I had wings like a dove. It is what not my enemy that rose up against me, but my acquaintance. Glory be to God. But through it all, God was with me. He brought me through. And some of us, the rejection we face, the real root of rejection, it's not just people, it's what happens inside. Sometimes we ourselves fail, glory be to God, and now we reject our own selves. But you need to rise above that, child of God, because God has a plan. Leah was unloved by her husband, but not unloved by God. I want to tell somebody, people's opinion of you is not God's opinion of you. Don't let people's opinion of you become your opinion of you. Let God's opinion of you become your opinion of you. Say amen. Say praise the Lord. Amen. Leah faced the spirit of rejection. She was rejected for many years. Husband didn't like her. Pushed aside, ostracized, refused, abused, misused. But God, amen, God will birth great leaders through her. A kingdom will come through her. The Savior will come through her. Come on, do we have any Leahs in the house? Do you have any Leahs here? It can be male or female, you know. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. If you have any Leahs in the house, if you are going through pain, I want to tell you it ain't over. Hang in there. Glory be to God. God is going to come through for you. God has a plan for you. Job was a Leah too, you know. When everything was good, all his friends were there. But when things turned sour, he was rejected by his closest friends. Everybody had something negative to say. And it's not a nice feeling when your friends begin to wash their mouth in you. Especially when what they say about you is the popular opinion. You ain't with me today. Some of you are going through nothing. It ain't easy when everybody believes the bad report. It ain't easy when everybody is saying it. And everybody are believing it. Amen. I can imagine when Leah walked the road, people will say, look at her. That is the second woman. That is the second fiddle. She on the back burner. So she feels she was getting blows below the belt. But God. God specializes in bringing back rejection. And I'm not talking about recycle. When the master is finished with you, what is rejected becomes a start What is rejected is now on the center table. Listen to me. All you have to do is wait and see the end of the story. Could I go on? For those of you who are facing rejection, let me give you my third point. Jesus faced the greatest rejection. Oh Lord, I feel like preaching now. You didn't hear that? That's my third point. Jesus Christ faced the greatest rejection. Leah's son, Jesus, would face the ultimate rejection, but through him will come great acceptance by God for all who believe on him. So the real healing for your rejection is to receive Christ and look to Christ and trust Christ and believe his word. Let me tell you what Jesus went through. He was rejected by men. Some of us feel that if your life is really good and has purpose, men will accept you. But I have news for you. Many times it's the opposite. When God favors you and God has a plan for you, you go through a period of rejection. Sometimes you yourself reject yourself. And that's one of the worst things now. When the water is in the boat and you don't like yourself. Some of you wish you were different. You wish you were that. You wish you were the other. You're tired here and you're just like your father. You're just like this. You're just like that. You ain't good enough. And you yourself come to the point where you say, probably I ain't good enough. But when men write you off, God will write you on. When you write off yourself, glory be to God, he will pull you back from the edge of eternity and say, I have a plan for you in this life. The Bible said in Isaiah 53 and verse 3, it says, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised and we esteem him not. Look at that. He is despised and rejected of men. Glory be to God. Don't listen to me, my friend. Don't let man's rejection faze you. Don't let man's rejection define you. Don't let man's rejection cause you to fail to focus and to dream and to aspire and to achieve. To walk in purpose and dignity.
We appreciate the time you spent with us today. If you need prayer right now, send us an email to info@victorgill.org or call now at 1-868-266-1830 and we will pray for you to get your miracle. You can partner with Bishop Gill to bring healing to the nations by donating any amount at www.victorgill.org. Thank you. From our family to you, God bless you richly.